Hey Legacy Builders, welcome back to Mind Your Money. In today's video, I'm going to be closing out the second budget by paycheck for the month of November. And I like to do a full payday routine and I share it with you. And since I'm doing this, right now, I thought, why not bring you along? And thank you for keeping us accountable. Hopefully you find some inspiration and some value here. Now, the income that we planned for this week was $750, and we are using a lot less than that, but we're still going to put it to work. We're still going to put every dollar to work. So it's broken down by money my husband brought in. Again, we don't use his full paycheck. We're only using a portion of it because he has investments and things he likes to do, and that's what works for us. I had $25 that I pulled from Ibotta. $10 was some miscellaneous income that came in, and then another $20, I think that came from Buy Me a Coffee. So thank you for everyone who just gives donations and supports the channel through that link. I appreciate you. And then $4 also came from some affiliate money that I got that came in. So $649 is what we are using. Our account right now is starting at $579.30. So our expenses are going to equal the income that we're using of $649 because we do a zero-based budget. Remember Matthew 6:34, do not worry about tomorrow. Read the verse if you need some extra inspiration, okay? Giving bucket, we plan to give $75, but because of the less income, we're going to give $65. And I'm rounding up because I don't like to use change. We're going to give with a cheerful heart. All right. Going over to savings. Let me scoot this over. Emergency fund. The plan was $10, but we have to cut this down a little because of the less income, which is fine, but we're still going to save $5 there. And then we have our transportation. Now, this is under our funds, which I call purpose funds. These specific accounts, high yield savings accounts, have a purpose. Each one has a purpose. Transportation, we're going to save $5 ahead for that because we do have transportation expenses we need to pay for. Wellness was going to get 10, but we're going to put 5 this week. And renter's insurance is going to get 5. So we're still saving even though we have a little bit less to work with. And that's $15 in total for our short-term savings, $5 for our long-term savings, which is that emergency fund. And then moving over to investments, I already sent $33 over to my Fidelity IRA so it can be invested because this is a top priority in this season. I said in the fourth quarter, we've got to start contributing a little bit more consistently rather, to our retirement account because that's inevitable. It's going to happen. And we need to make sure we're planning for it. And I'm doing a 100 shares challenge. I'm trying to get 100 shares by the end of quarter 1 of 2024. So let's see if we can consistently do that. Cash expenses, I did pull out $75 in cash. I didn't change that. So this is actually the same. And usually, well, this section here where I do cash expenses, there are things we need like laundry, and there are other things that we should have, like big cash savings, and I'm doing challenges that I plan to finish. So I'm challenging myself to make sure we continue. So that's $75 there. Miscellaneous is going to get the $4 that I got from those affiliate sales because I didn't even expect that to come. There was some change involved, but I just don't want to deal with the change. I'll probably just send that into the zero out challenge. But we're going to put $4 into miscellaneous as opposed to $73. It hurts a little bit to see such a big chunk not being able to put in there, but something is better than nothing. All right, and then for bills, these are important. We have to pay bills, right? $375 is still being put aside for December's rent. And then $77 was our Geico expense, but the bill came out to $76.82. So this is where I'll use some change because the difference between this and what we budgeted is 18 cents. And I'm going to send that to our next month's bills account so we can pay for future bills because we're going to need it, and every cent matters. So 18 cents is going there, so the $4.52 for bills and expenses is still the same, and we're just reallocating the difference between what we budgeted and what actually came out for Geico. So let me scoot this over again. We planned for $750 for income and expenses, but the zero-based budget closing out is $649 and $649. I had to work my numbers off camera to make sure I still get a zero-based budget, right? Because if I didn't, and if I kept these the same, if this was more, I would be over budget. But I'm very careful about making sure I plan ahead of time before I close out the actual budget. So you may look at your pay stub and say, dang, I thought I was getting $800 and I only got $650. Well, you have to adjust, and you may have to adjust before you write out your final numbers or input your final numbers. This is just what helps me mentally. I say, okay, I know we got a little bit less, but let me break down, where did the income come from? We do have multiple streams. They're trickling in a little bit, but we have multiple streams. So let's just praise God and be grateful for that. And we're still saving. I had to find a way to still save money even though there was less to work with. Just like I found a way, I said, look, we're still going to give off of the top. That's not going to change. And I'm still going to put a little bit more towards investing than savings, because I've got to make sure we can build up that dividend income that we're reaching for as well. And at the same time, we're putting money in retirement. This is money that's not taxed. So any interest, dividends, increase on this money in the IRA is not taxed. So it's just, I'm trying to make smart money moves, and I'm trying to share it with you. And hopefully someone in this audience who's viewing will see that these are things you can do even with a modest income. Even when your income is less than what you expected or what you planned, there are still some moves that you can make, right? All right, enough talking. All right, so let me zoom back in because I have to do my percentages every single week. So again, we started with $579.30. That's how much we have currently in our operating account, and we'll go back to that because giving was 65 divided into the 649 that we received. Multiply that by 100 to get the actual percentage, which is 10%. It's a little more than that, but 10%, because I rounded up the 50 cents. So 0.5% or something like that. Savings. We saved $4 going to miscellaneous for future expenses, $15 in short-term savings, and $5 for the emergency fund. So that's $24. Divide that into 649. That's probably a little less than 5% because, again, the income was a little bit less, so I had to adjust it. So 3.7% this week went to savings, and investing was 33 divided into 649 multiplied by 100, 5.1%. Okay, so again, this is why the investment percentage we put a little bit more, because again, tax advantages in the IRA. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what I know, what I've learned, and sharing my experience with you. All right, so now that that part is all done, we can make some money moves. And that's now that I know what all of our actual numbers are for each of these categories. I'm just going to transfer it from the operating account all to wherever it needs to go. So $579.30 first, minus in 65. I never do it like this. I don't know why I'm doing it today, but let it be what it is. So transfer $65 to our tithe and give account first. And success, Tithe got her $65, so we'll give that to our church. Next is emergency fund, which I'm going to Zelle to Ally Bank, where we house most of our emergency fund right now, and that's going to be $5. And we'll send that over. Success, we sent $5 to the emergency fund. $33 already went to our Fidelity IRA, so you'll see that on the screen. And then short-term savings, transportation is going to get $5. Success, transportation got $5. Wellness is going to get $5. Success, wellness got $5. Renter's insurance is going to get $5, which is due on the 21st of December, so we still have a little more time to save for it. But I'm putting this into our annual bills fund because we don't have a renter's insurance fund anymore. But I just need to make sure I have it written down as renters so I know how much we're putting in, so I know how much to transfer to the account where this is going to come from. So we're going to send $5. Success. Renter's insurance got 5. Or annual bills got 5. Cash I already have. I'm going to be stuffing that on Tasha's Money and Stuff, my second channel, or really technically it's my third channel. But if you would like to go over and subscribe to see how we're doing with our savings challenges, please go ahead and do that. I would appreciate it so very much. Miscellaneous is going to get $4. And you probably have noticed already, if you follow along, that I stopped calculating. I made a mistake, and I'm just gonna move on because we'll use that when it's time to reconcile the expense tracker. So miscellaneous is going to get $4. Success. $4 transferred into miscellaneous, and then $375 is also going to miscellaneous, but for December's rent. So we're going to send that over right now. Success. Rent for December 1st has been sent over. And then Geico, this has already hit the credit card and cleared, so I'm going to make a payment right now of $76.82 to cover that charge on the credit card. Perfect. It says thanks for your payment. Your payment is on time and covers the minimum due. That $76.82 was paid on the credit card today. So I need to update the expense tracker really quickly. I need to make sure that I highlight in a black, the way I do when I track my expenses, that was done. And that was paid on the 2nd for $76.82, and I just paid that back today. So this is how I like to track now to make sure it's done. Highlighting is a little bit much for me. In the beginning, I used to do it a lot. But to be honest, it's like, oh, it's just too many colors. It's not neat. It's not together. And I'm just a certain way, and that's just how I like it. Interesting and unique. So $76.82 has been paid back for Geico, so that now is done. And we move back to paycheck number 2. We have one more transfer to make, and that's 18 cents into next month's bills. So let me do that, and then I'll track to see how much is going to be left in the account after we're done all of this, and see if I have any change left on the end of my operating account that I can send as an extra savings to the Zero Out Challenge. Success. 18 cents transferred into next month's bills, and now I can track on my expense tracker to see where we are. I need to switch from my Bic Gelocity pen to my Parku pen. I did a review of these early on when I started YouTube. I was so excited that they reached out to me to do a review. I think it was my September budget, actually, like 2 or 3 years ago. And so I still use them because they work really well. They dry fast, and it just looks so pretty, and they come in all different colors. I like it. We had 634. That's not where we started, so I have to do some updating really quickly. And let me go back. That was the 3rd. We got some income of $4.30. I used part of this for this week's budget, but the 30 cents, I was like, I'll just use the $4 because that's just how I am. So we had $93.75 came out. That was a payment to Quicksilver for the YMCA membership. I took care of that already. And then I withdrew $75 in cash. So that is the next one. And that was on the 7th. 75. And we had 6. What do we have? Wait a minute. Let me get myself together. 634, 30 cents, or 80 cents. 30 cents minus 75. That brought us to $5.59.30. I don't even know. My pregnancy brain got me all mangled up right now. I don't know if that's what I said in the beginning. But we also had a deposit of $20 that came in. I did not write that in yet. And that basically is what I paid myself from my Tasha Loves Life revenue. So every little bit helps. And that came from this bank. So I'll put it here. That was a deposit, really, because it's considered income. And it was $20. So we're at 20. That's $579.30. And from $579.30, then we started making money moves for payday. So the tithe came out. and that was $65. And so when you subtract that from the balance, we have $514.30 left. And then the next money move that I made was the $5 I sent to the emergency fund. So that was a Zelle transfer to the emergency fund, and that was $5. Let's do what we can. $509.30. The next money move was $5 to transportation. So let me write that in. So minus $5 again, $504.30. I'm running out of space again. So I'm going to have to condense this when I get to paychecks 3 and 4. $5 also went to wellness. That left us with $4.99 at that point and 30 cents. And then the next money move was $5 that went to renter's insurance, which is actually annual bills. But I'm going to write renter's insurance in here again to remind myself so I know how much of that money that's in there is for the insurance and how much is for other bills that's going to come up. So I'll put renters. And I've been using this pen so much, it is starting to run out of ink. But it writes so well. It writes so well and it dries so quickly. That was $5. Minus 5, $494.30. The next is $4 that went to miscellaneous. $490.30. And then the largest transfer for this or money move was the rent. So we have to save at least $375 a week in a 4-pay month and $300 a week in a 5-pay month. So that's just what it is. Rent for December 1st, we sent $375, and we subtract that, we get $115.30. I used to feel embarrassed about the lower income, like, oh my gosh, it's not that much. But in reality, I'm excited because if I had the same mindset I did 10 years ago, I would have spent all this money and been crying about I don't have anything, to save, because we prioritize saving over here and investing little by little. So it is what it is. I need to make sure we have rent ready for next month. I don't want that to be an issue. If we have to cut back on savings a little bit, that's fine, but we still have to save something. We can't not save anything, because life is always going to happen. The earth is still spinning. So next month's bills got 18 cents. And I'm glad for it, because anytime we save a little bit on bills, I want to put it straight into next month's bills. I want to be ahead of bills as fast as possible, as much as possible. So I'm kind of sad this pen is running out of ink. I use it so much. So that was 18 cents. And when we subtract 18, we're left with $115.12. So I did just make a payment right on the credit card for the $76.82. It will probably post later today or tomorrow, whatever. But even though it's not reflected in this balance yet, I'm still going to write it here because I need to see exactly what we have left to find out if there's any money that I can send to the Zero Out Challenge. Everywhere we can save is a blessing to me, and I thank God for it. I just put Zero Out Challenge, and that's not what I meant to do. I meant to put bill, because it was a bill. It was for Geico. So $76.82 minus $76.82. So $38. Ooh, is that right? $38.30. I feel like I missed something. Let me check to see if the Fidelity money came out. It might not have come out yet. It did not. Okay, so I have to write in Fidelity. I did transfer it, but it didn't hit just yet. So I have to include Fidelity, and that was to invest via my IRA. So I'll put that as a transfer, and that is investing. And we have to subtract $33. Okay, that looks right now because we haven't put the cash in from the 1K challenge yet. So our cushion is a little low. So this is $5.30. So that means we have 30 cents. That's the last, couple of digits on this account. We'll send 30 cents to the Zero Out Challenge today. I like it because every dollar matters. And what I'm going to do with the money in the Zero Out Challenge at the end of the year, I'm going to send it straight to my Fidelity IRA. So I'm going to collect every bit of interest that they're going to give me off of it, plus what we save, and put it into the IRA. We might not be able to max it out this year, but we're still increasing our portfolio and that dividend income. So this is the Zero Out Challenge, and this is going to be 30 cents, which will leave us with a $5 cushion until next paycheck. Ooh, I put $5. Nope. No, plus 5 minus 30. Boom, $5. That's where we are. Praise God, to whom all blessings flow. From whom all blessings flow. There we go. All right, so I hope I didn't annoy you too much. I hope you enjoyed this video. I thank you for walking this through, watching me do all these money moves. I hope you found something of value here. And that is it, and that is all. I'm going to go ahead and film my cash stuffing video. I'm going to post it on my Tasha's Money and Stuff channel. Please make sure to check me out over there if you like cash stuffing, or if you just like to see people saving money in different ways. I appreciate you for being here. Remember, do not worry about tomorrow. Continue to mind your money, manage it well, and live your lives abundantly. Bye for now.